Jump to content. Main menu. Main menu. Move to sidebar hide. Navigation. Main page. Contents. Current events. Random article. About Wikipedia. Contact us. Contribute. Help. Learn to edit. Community portal. Recent changes. Upload file. Search. Search. Appearance. Donate. Create account. Login. Personal tools. Donate. Create account. Login. Pages for logged out editors. Learn more. Contributions. Talk. Contents. Move to sidebar hide. Top. 1. History. 2. In popular culture. 3. See also. 4. References. 5. Further reading. 6. External links. Toggle the table of contents. Jazz funeral. 6 languages. Deutsch. Französisch. Italiano. Suomi. Svenska. Edit links. Article. Talk. English. Read. Edit. View history. Tools. Tools. Move to sidebar hide. Actions. Read. Edit. View history. General. What links here? Related changes. Upload file. Special pages. Permanent link. Page information. Cite this page. Get shortened URL. Download QR code. Expand all. Edit interlineage links. Print /export. Download as PDF. Printable version. In other projects. Wikimedia Commons. Wikidata item. Appearance. Move to sidebar hide. Text. Small. Standard. Large. This page always uses small font size. Width. Standard. Wide. The content is as wide as possible for your browser window. Color, beta. Automatic. Light. Dark. This page is always in light mode. From Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia. Tradition developed in New Orleans. A jazz funeral is a funeral procession accompanied by a brass band, in the tradition of New Orleans, Louisiana. Drummers at the funeral of jazz musician Danny Barker in 1994. They include Louis Cottrell, great-grandson of New Orleans innovative drumming pioneer, Louis Cottrell, Sr. and grandson of New Orleans clarinetist Louis Cottrell, Jr., of the Young Tuxedo Brass Band, far right, Louis Bicycle Louis Lederman of the Down and Dirty Brass Band, second from right. History. Edit. The term jazz funeral was long in use by observers from elsewhere, but was generally disdained as inappropriate by most New Orleans musicians and practitioners of the tradition. 1. The preferred description was funeral with music. While jazz was part of the music played, it was not the primary focus of the ceremony. 2. 3. This reluctance to use the term faded significantly in the final 15 years or so of the 20th century among the younger generation of New Orleans brass band musicians more familiar with the post-Dirty Dozen brass band and Soul Rebels brass band funk-influenced style than the older traditional New Orleans jazz. Citation needed. The tradition blends strong European and African cultural influences. Louisiana's colonial past gave it a tradition of military-style brass bands which were called on for many occasions, including playing funeral processions. 4. This was combined with African spiritual practices, specifically the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria and other parts of West Africa. 5, 6, 7. Jazz funerals are also heavily influenced by early 20th century Protestant and Catholic churches, black brass bands, and the idea of celebrating after death in order to please the spirits who protect the dead. Citation needed. Another group that has influenced jazz funerals are the Mardi Gras Indians. 8, 9, 10. The tradition was widespread among New Orleanians across ethnic boundaries at the start of the 20th century. As the common brass band music became wilder in the years before World War I, some white New Orleanians considered the hot music disrespectful, and such musical funerals became rare among the city's white citizens. After the 1960s, it gradually started being practiced across ethnic and religious boundaries. Most commonly such musical funerals are done for individuals who are musicians themselves, connected to the music industry, or members of various social aid and pleasure clubs or carnival crews who make a point of arranging for such funerals for members. Although the majority of jazz funerals are for African American musicians, there has been a new trend in which jazz funerals are given to young people who have died. 11. The organizers of the funeral arrange for hiring the band as part of the services. When a respected fellow musician or prominent member of the community dies, some additional musicians may also play in the procession as a sign of their esteem for the deceased. 12. In more recent times anyone can request a jazz funeral, but the musician route is still the most commonly seen today. A typical jazz funeral begins with a march by the family, friends, and a brass band from the home, funeral home, or church to the cemetery. During the funeral march, onlookers have been known to join in with the festivities of the passing of life. Throughout the march, the band plays sombre dirges and hymns. 12. A change in the tenor of the ceremony takes place, after either the deceased is entombed, or the hearse leaves the procession and members of the procession say their final goodbye and they cut the body loose. After this the music becomes more upbeat, often starting with a hymn or spiritual number played in a swinging fashion, then going into popular hot tunes. There is raucous music and cathartic dancing where onlookers join in to celebrate the life of the deceased. Those who follow the band just to enjoy the music are called the second line, and their style of dancing, in which they walk and sometimes twirl a parasol or handkerchief in the air, is called second lining. 13. Some typical pieces often played at jazz funerals are the slow and sombre song Nearer My God to Thee and such spirituals as Just a Closer Walk with Thee. The later more upbeat tunes frequently include When the Saints Go Marching In and Oh, Didn't He Ramble. 14. Musicians play for a funeral leaving St. Augustine Church in the Treem neighborhood, Michael White in foreground. In popular culture. Edit. The Cincinnati Kid, 1965, which takes place in New Orleans, begins with a jazz funeral in which the song Oh, Didn't He Ramble is played. In the James Bond film Live and Let Die, 1973, an early scene showed a secret agent being murdered under cover of a jazz funeral. 15. The 2010 HBO TV series Treem frequently featured jazz funerals as part of its depiction of the New Orleans musical landscape. The Originals, a spin-off of The Vampire Diaries, which started in 2013 and ran for 5 seasons, frequently featured a form of jazz funerals whenever prominent characters died. Unlike true jazz funerals which went from a home, funeral home, or church to the cemetery, the jazz funerals in the Originals were always in the French Quarter Square. They also mostly showcased only the lively music portion and not the sombre. Some of the characters who had a jazz funeral in this series were Father Kieran, Camille, and Haley. Legacies, a 2018 4-season spin-off of the Originals, Also featured a jazz funeral for the main character's father, Klaus Michelson, in the 4th season, who had died in the original series finale years earlier, both in real time and in series time. In the 2023 Disney film Haunted Mansion, a jazz funeral takes place on the streets of New Orleans in which an original song called His Soul Left Gloss on the Rose is performed by the Soul Rebels. Jazz funeral was one of the inspirations behind a funeral scene in the episode Rick's Road in the 2023 Disney and television series Under 16. See also. Edit. Dancing pallbearers. Historic cemeteries of New Orleans. List of cemeteries in Louisiana. Months mined, Requiem Mass played a month after death. References. Edit. Why is a jazz funeral not a jazz funeral? YouTube. The 17th of October, 2018. New Orleans, The History of Jazz Funerals. The 24th of December, 2016. Jazz Funerals, A New Orleans Goodbye. Stewart, 2004. Smith, Michael, 1994. Mardi Gras Indians. Arcadia Publishing. p. 17. ISBN 9781455624652. Mardi Gras Indians. 1994. Retrieved 29 September, 2024. Van der Loo, Walter, 2023. Jazz and Death, Reception, Rituals, and Representations. New York, N.Y., Routledge. p. 26. ISBN 978-1-138-55341-5. Smith, Michael, 1994. Mardi Gras Indians. Arcadia Publishing. p. 17. ISBN 9781455624652. Mardi Gras Indians. 1994. Retrieved 29 September, 2024. Turner, 89. Sakakini, 2011. Jump Up To, A.B. Jazz Funerals, 2004. Spitzer, Rebuilding the Land of Dreams Part 7. New Orleans Online, The Jazz Funeral. The 27th of June, 45 years ago, Live and Let Die brought James Bond to New Orleans. movies/tvnola.com. The 27th of June, 2018. Under Season 2, post-credits scene teased by Tony Gilroy. The Hollywood Reporter. The Hollywood Reporter. The 23rd of November, 2022. Archived from the original on the 23rd of November, 2022. Retrieved the 13th of September, 2023. Further reading. Edit. Funerals with Music in New Orleans, Dr. Jack Stewart, Save Our Cemeteries, Incorporated, and J. Stewart, New Orleans, 2004. Turner, Richard Brent. Jazz Religion, The Second Line, and Black New Orleans. Bloomington, Indiana Up, 2009. Print. External links. Edit. Wikimedia Commons has media related to jazz funerals. The Jazz Funeral at New Orleans Online. Let Me Do My Thing, Rebirth Brass Band, a documentary filmed and edited by Keith Rhino, Jr. Nick Spitzer, Rebuilding the Land of Dreams, Expressive Culture and New Orleans Authentic Future, Southern Spaces, the 29th of August 2006. http://southern-spaces.org/2006/rebuilding-land-dreams-expressive-culture-and-new-orleans-authentic-future. Nick Spitzer, Love and Death at Second Line, Southern Spaces, the 20th of February 2004. http://southern-spaces.org/2004/love-and-death-second-line. Jazz Funerals, Religion and Ethics News Weekly No. 722, the 30th of January 2004, archived the 10th of March 2013 at the Wayback Machine. Jazz Funeral of Anthony Tuba Fats Layson, the 18th of January 2004. Sekekini, Matt. Jazz Funerals and Second Line Parades No. LA Encyclopedia of Louisiana. ed. Joyce Miller. The 25th of March 2012. The Journal of Latrobe, p. 191. Description of a New Orleans Funeral c. 1820. Show. V. T. E. Louisiana Roots Music and Dance. Bounce. Brass Bands. Cajun Music. Cajun Jig. Cajun Jitterbug. Swamp Pop. Creole Music. Zydeco. Zydeco, Dance. Jazz. Dixieland. Jazz Funeral. Louisiana Blues. New Orleans Blues. Swamp Blues. New Orleans Hip Hop. New Orleans Soul. New Orleans R&B. Second Line. Show. V. T. E. Jazz. General Topics. Outline of Jazz. Jazz, word. Jazz Band. Big Band. Improvisation. Jazz. Jam Session. Scat Singing. Swing Performance. Jazz Bass. Jazz Drumming. Jazz Guitar. French Horn in Jazz. Jazz Piano. Jazz Trombone. Jazz Violin. Vocal Jazz. Women in Jazz. Genres. Avant-garde Jazz. Bebop. Hard Bop. Neo-Bop. Post-Bop. Cape Jazz. Chamber Jazz. Cool Jazz. Dixieland. Flamenco Jazz. Folk Jazz. Free Jazz. Free Funk. Free Improvisation. Punk Jazz. Gypsy Jazz. Jazz Funk. Jazz Fusion. Jazz Rap. Latin Jazz. Afro-Cuban Jazz. M-Bass. Mainstream Jazz. Marabi. Modal Jazz. New Jazz. Orchestral Jazz. Organ Trio. Progressive Jazz. Ska Jazz. Smooth Jazz. Soul Jazz. Spiritual Jazz. Sacred Jazz. Stride. Swing. Swing Revival. Third Stream. Trad Jazz. Musicians. Bassists. Clarinetists. Drummers. Guitarists. Organists. Percussionists. Pianists. Saxophonists. Trombonists. Trumpeters. Vibraphonists. Violinists. Vocalists. Musicians by genre. Bebop. Chamber Jazz. Cool Jazz and West Coast Jazz. Hard Bop. Jazz Fusion. Scat. Smooth Jazz. Soul Jazz. Swing. Standards. Pre-1920. 1920s. 1930s. 1940s. Post-1950. Discographies. Bethlehem. Blue Note. BYG. Cobblestone. Contemporary. CTI. ECM. ESP Disc. Flying Dutchman. Freedom. Groove Merchant. Impulse. India Navigation. JMT. Landmark. Mainstream. Milestone. MPS Records. MPS. Muse. Prestige. Riverside. Strata East. VEV. Winter and Winter. Festivals. Beaches, Toronto. Cape Town. Chicago. Copenhagen. Jakarta. Monterey. Montreal. Montreux. New Orleans. Newport. North Sea. Pori. Saint Lucia. Culture. Contrafacts. Institutions and organizations. Jazz funeral. Jazz poetry. Jazz royalty. Jazz theory. See template, jazz theory. Rare groove. Second line. Venues. Regional scenes. African. Ethiopia. Malawian. South African. Cape Jazz. Marabi. Zimbabwean. Asian. Armenian. Azerbaijani. Jazz Muffam. Indian. Indo-Jazz. Sitar. Iranian. Japanese. European. Balkan. Bulgarian. Belgian. British. British dance band. Continental European. Czech and Slovak. Danish. Dutch. European free jazz. French. German. Italian. Polish. Yes. Spanish. Flamenco jazz. Swedish. North American. Canadian. Haitian. Latin American. Cuban. American. Baltimore jazz. Chicago. Kansas City. New Orleans. New York City. Washington, D.C. West Coast. Oceanian. Australian. South American. Brazilian. Latin American. Worldwide. Ethno-jazz. History. Bibliography of jazz. Blues. British dance band. Ragtime. Jazz age. Continental jazz. Straight ahead jazz. Pre-1920. 1920s. 1930s. 1940s. 1950s. 1960s. 1970s. 1980s. 1990s. 2000s. 2010s. 2020. 2021. 2022. Related. Acid jazz. Afrobeat. Contradanza. Blues. Jump blues. New Orleans blues. Brass band. Exotica. Plug. Quiet storm. Ragtime. Novelty ragtime. Sophistopop. West African music. Western swing. Media. Album covers of Blue Note Records. Bud. Jazz, miniseries. The Jazz Singer. Round Midnight. Straight, No Chaser. Jazz Portal. Retrieved from https://en.wikipedia.org/w/index.php #jazz_funeral&olded=sign12558882816. Categories: Jazz culture. Culture of New Orleans. Funerals in the United States. Music of New Orleans. African American Roman Catholicism. African American Christianity. African American music. Afro-American religion. African Americans and religion. Hidden categories. Articles with short description. Short description is different from Wikidata. All articles with unsourced statements. Articles with unsourced statements from May 2022. Articles with unsourced statements from November 2021. Commons category link is on Wikidata. Web archive template Wayback Links. This page was last edited on the 7th of November 2024 at 3:46 UTC. Text is available under the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 4.0 license. Additional terms may apply. By using this site, you agree to the terms of use and privacy policy. Wikipedia registered trademark symbol is a registered trademark of the Wikimedia Foundation, Inc., a non-profit organization. Privacy policy. About Wikipedia. Disclaimers. Contact Wikipedia. Code of conduct. Developers. Statistics. Cookie statement. Mobile view. Edit preview settings. Capture. Drag to outliner or upload. Close. OK, done. Private group. Save cancel. Plus share to a new group. And share to a new group. Post cancel. Post cancel. 1.00x. Close. Sign up. Or sign in. Paperpile.com